Hello again, this is a follow-up to my Age of Ultron review. Now, looking back on that review, I seem to have been pretty critical of the film. In fact, it almost seems like I didn't like it at all, which isn't true. I have now seen it a second time, and I have to say that it does hold up really well. There's been other Marvel films that I've appreciated more the second time around. And also Edgar Wright's The World's End. I wasn't a huge fan of the first time, but now I've seen it tons of times, and it's probably easily my favourite of the Cornetto trilogy. So sometimes these repeat viewings pay off, I guess is what I'm saying. With Age of Ultron, seeing it a second time, I was able to ignore the niggling concerns that I had about it not tying in with the larger universe, specifically not tying in particularly well with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I still think it doesn't. Now, I have since seen articles and things about how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been badly implemented to fit in with the movies, and the movies are kind of being run by one group of people, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is being run by another group of people, so it's not really compatible very well anyway, which is bad planning. I really think they need to sort that out. But it has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has just caught up with Ultron, or it's just preluding Ultron. It's just kind of, I won't explain in case there's anyone watching the show, but yeah, it's just reaching that point. It still doesn't explain a lot of the concerns that I had in my previous review, but it's starting to sort of tie together now. From a completely outside perspective, though, Ultron fits in really well. It works as a follow-on from the Avengers and all the other events. It makes sense that the Avengers got back together after the Winter Soldier and took to take down Hydra. That all makes sense, and it's not that jarring that we skip a lot of story to get to basically what is the end of the Avengers mission against Hydra. We've missed a lot of them it's been presumed that they've been taking down Hydra for X amount of time, but we've missed it, but you can forgive that because the film makes sense in that epic sort of scale. I will, as I said before, be recording my ranking of the Marvel films. Possibly today, possibly another day. I've been ill the last few days, and I still have quite a bad throat. It's taken all my energy to not just cough constantly through this video, so I might not be able to get that one out just yet. I got through an entire pack of Hall's Soothers the other day, and just really bad. See, but I wanted to do another little tiny video about Ultron, just because I really do feel that I really picked on it in the last review. My last review was on the whole negative, I think. And Ultron, I won't go to the details, but Ultron isn't going to make my top, of my overall Marvel list. But it's not a terrible film. It is a really good addition. And if you're not invested in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then I imagine that a lot of what I was complaining about is completely over your head anyway. Now, I stand by a lot of my previous criticism, but the film does stand up, and for me it was perhaps even better the second time than it was the first time, because I wasn't so distracted by all these little niggles that I had. The only thing that I'm still failing to wrap my head around is Ultron himself. I still don't quite understand Ultron. I kind of hoped that I would understand Ultron's plan better the second time. You see in my previous review, I get a little bit muddled as to what his motivations are, I guess, and I had to correct it in when I edited. But I'm still, even after the second viewing, still not clear why he was doing what he was doing. There's the element of he thinks that saving mankind, he has to destroy mankind to save it, or he wants he has this sort of weird kickstarting evolution thing going on, or maybe he just wants to kill everyone and thinks they'll be better off without people, or maybe he just wants to kill the Avengers. It's really not clear how his plan, or what he's hoping to accomplish with his plan. Or maybe he wants to kill everyone and have the world taken over by robots. That makes a kind of sense, but at the same time he still seems to have this affection for people on some level. Like I say, it really doesn't quite make sense to me. Maybe I'm just being slow, but it doesn't. The actions of his plan, what he's hoping to achieve, and why he's hoping to achieve it, never quite comes together. For me. So perhaps that's my concern. Perhaps it's having that sort of nerdy investment in the expanded universe has coloured my opinion significantly, which maybe is unfair, but maybe Marvel need to address that issue and just start tying everything together a little bit more neatly. If you do watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I do recommend it. It did have a very slow start. I imagine a lot of people gave up on the first season. But it does come together. No, it's not as good as Daredevil. Daredevil was amazing. If you haven't seen Daredevil, then go get on Netflix or whatever and see Daredevil. I assume it's only available on Netflix. It must come out on DVD at some point. But yeah, Daredevil was really, really good. It was like something like some sort of crime drama, like The Wire or something, but with superhero backdrop. It was just really, really much more clever than I think anyone expected it to be. Agent Carter's pretty good as well. Agent Carter's probably still better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's a little bit more. I don't know. It feels a bit more fantastical. It's shot in a slightly more colourful, comic booky way. So yeah, and it's interesting to follow on because following Agent Carter after Captain America is basically her trying to fit into the SSR. With everyone viewing her basically as all she was Captain America's girlfriend. She wasn't anybody in her own right. Everyone just sort of assumes that that's all she was, which is quite interesting. Of her trying to sort of find herself in what is essentially a very sexist environment. And, it was back then anyway. But yeah, I think all the shows are really good. Well worth checking out. But yeah, that's my little update, and I hope to see you again soon for the big Marvel review when my voice is back. Well, my voice is here now, but when it doesn't hurt quite so much to talk. Yes, thank you for watching. Check out my other videos and all the other things I normally say, and await the big Marvel review. Thank you. The end.